Hi, welcome to Doris. In case if you're new here, my name is Doris. I'm a mom of four that have been homeschooling for, I'm going to say 8 years now. My oldest, who is 16, I have been homeschooling her, I think when she was about to go to the fourth grade. That's when we decided to homeschool. And then the rest of my kids, my second daughter, she is 10. My first son, he's 8. And then my fourth son is 4. Have never been to public school. My oldest is the one that was in public school, and she was the reason we started homeschooling. So you may have a reason as to why you want to homeschool. My oldest, who's 16, is thinking about going to public school for her junior year this year. So that's something we're discussing and see what is actually best for her. But for my younger kids, they're going to stay homeschooling. So this video series is going to be a little bit of quick start on how to homeschool and how to choose your curriculum and how to plan. I'm going to try to do multiple videos because I don't want a video to be too long. So the first I'm going to talk about why you want to homeschool. Okay, you need to focus on why you want to homeschool. I say this a lot of time when a new family is coming into the homeschool community and asking me, how do you homeschool? How do you stay on flow? How do you handle everything with everything I have to do with homeschooling? How do you not compare yourself to other people? And the best advice I always give them, and that has been working for me over the years, is focus on why you started homeschooling in the first place. And when you focus on that, it blur everything out, everything that's around you, how people are homeschooling, that what events they're going to, and you feel that you're not doing anything, or why not focus on the why you started homeschooling. If you need to make a poster, put it somewhere where you look at it every day to explain the reason you try to homeschool, the reason you started in the first place. And then with that, you can be able to set multiple goals for your children and your family. Now you know why you even decided to homeschool. You can't just say, I'm going to homeschool and that's it, and start homeschooling. There are legal ways that you need to do that. That way you don't get in trouble, because you can't get arrested if you just pull your child out of the public school and not say anything. If your child is already in public school and you decide to homeschool, you have to let that local school district know that you plan on homeschooling. You cannot just stop going to school and expect them to know that your reason for not going, for the child not showing up, is because you want to homeschool. Because if you don't, they're just going to assume you are neglecting your child education, and that's another legal thing you do not want to deal with. Different states have different regulations and rules on when it comes to homeschooling. I'm in Texas, one of the best states to homeschool. Don't move to Texas, we're full. I'm joking. Well, if you're California, don't move to Texas, we're full. But each state have different rules and regulations. In my state, Texas, we get to choose what we want to teach our kids. It is a very free, hands-off homeschool state. So for my local school district, when I was about to homeschool, all I had to do was to write a letter to the school district and say, hey, I am pulling my child or children out of public school and I am responsible for the education I'm going to homeschool. Like, I'll try to find my letter because I kept it around here. What my letter said I give to the school district that my oldest daughter was in, but you're basically letting them know that I'm going to be homeschooling, responsible for my child education. Some district will ask you for all the extra stuff that is not needed, because a lot of time they haven't had children getting pulled out for homeschool. So they'll ask you for, oh, what is the curriculum you're going to be using? What school to go into? You don't need all of that information, at least in the state of Texas anyway. You don't need all that information. You just need to go up there and be like, I'm homeschooling my child. And if you have an issue, they don't know what's going on, just make sure they sign some kind of document saying that you give that paper to them, like a proof. Okay, I did that. I made sure to sign something. I signed a thing and I had a hard copy just for my record, just because I had a lot of issue with the school district and I did not want to deal with any kind of legal thing. So I made sure that I was stepped out. That you can do a verbal, you can email, but I just prefer to have a hard copy that when anything come down, if a CPS show up at my door, I can pull that paper out and say, I pull my kids out legally. I have every right to homeschool my kids, and this is what I'm doing. And that is it. For different states, okay, different states require you to do attendance. Texas does not. When you pull your child out of the public school, everything falls on you as a parent in the state of Texas. If you're in other places like Maryland, you are required to have a meeting with, I don't know what they call. I'm just going to call it education advisor right now because I don't remember what they call. But you're required to have a meeting for them to check the academic level of the child. Some state you're required to take tests. Some state you have certain amount of hours you have to meet. Okay, so that's all I think you need to know when you start homeschooling, to go and say, research your school state. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pause this video and we're going to go through the web search to show you how to find that information out in case that's something you don't know how to find out. So I'm using my iPad right now but it may be different. Just go to your search engine, and you're going to search your specific state. So I'm going to search Texas homeschool laws. Okay, and there are different websites I put up for Texas homeschool law. I'm going to go to HSLDA website because they have all the states homeschool law on there. But this is just going to go specific to the Texas state law. So then we're going to click on that, and hopefully my internet is fast enough. And right here, it says Texas homeschool law at a glance. And it just tell you what, like the fast option, what is required. Option for homeschooling, you have one. That means you pull your child out to homeschooling, you're responsible. Other states have a different way that you can homeschool. They have umbrella homeschooling, and I'll try to go to one of those states. That way can fit, you can understand what I'm saying. And then also, one of the things I like about this website, it have different color in there, like green and gray out red, to tell you the regulations of the homeschool. So the green will be no regulations whatsoever, and then you have low regulation, moderate regulation, high regulation. A lot of the high regulation is in like the North liberal states. So if you're in one of those states, this chance of you having a regulation is going to be very high. Well, if you're in a conservative state where they believe to remove federal government out of their household, out of their life, you are probably going to have no regulation, such as the state of Texas. So on the side, just have option for homeschooling, have one school required for age. In the state of Texas, before you're even required to homeschool your child, they have to be the age of 6. Even the public school kids, they have to be the age of 6. It's just a lot of people end up doing pre-K, and they just don't know. They feel like their child have to start school when they're 3. But a lot of states, to my knowledge, I have searched, school starting age is at 6, and then all the way up to 18 or 19, depending on when they're done with high school. And then they have notification required. The state of Texas, we don't. Teaching certification required, no. State monitor subjects, yes. This right here in the census is very minimum. We have to just do reading, math, good citizenship, and something else. I forgot. There's 4 things we have to do. Assessment required, no. Immunization required, no. So I'm going to go to the full view detail and see what come up for you to understand that. So when you come down on your state, when you hit that full view detail, it is going to explain it to you better. So these are the subjects that's required in the state of Texas. I'm required to teach math, reading, spelling, and grammar, and a course in good citizenship. A lot of people get confused what good citizenship is, but let's just say if you're a Christian, you go to church. That's a good citizenship. You teach your child to be respectful to elders. That's a good citizenship. You teach your children to volunteer. That's a good citizenship. Teaching your children how to treat people right way. That is a good citizenship. Or even Bible classes that can fall on a good citizenship. And if you're not a Christian, you're Islam or something, anything that you teach that pertains to your religion can be considered a good citizenship. On a faith base or believe in any kind of religion, volunteering is a good citizenship. Telling your children, hey, we have even like going to like what is it called? Political rally, that can be considered a good citizenship because you're being involved in your country, you're helping further your country. That is what the whole good citizenship is. So don't overthink it. This is all that required. This is the 4 things that require in the state of Texas. We also need to think about what is your kids going to do after you're done homeschooling. Are they planning on going to college? Are they planning on being a welder? Are they planning on being a plumber? You have to think about that. All my kids right now, they are planning to go to college. I don't have any child that is interested in trade. My oldest, who is 16, she want to do medicine. So I know science is going to be something she needs to know. So I incorporate that in the history as well, because history is very important. In my opinion, if you don't know your history, you end up repeating it. So even though those things are not required by law, you may want to consider adding that into your curriculum just to give them a well-rounded view of everything, okay? And then I have user-written curriculum. This right here, you can't just say, I'm homeschooling my kids and not have, any kind of plan curriculum in place. And you can't just say, I'm putting my kids out to homeschool and just sit at home all day and not do anything. If CPS come to your door and you can tell them what you have been doing, then you can get in trouble with that. So you need to have a plan. Please don't put your kids out of public school and not homeschool them. That just look bad on other homeschoolers actually trying to homeschool their kids. So you go down and just explain that. That is Texas law right there. So we are going to go to another state that is very, that has more, more restriction. So I'm going to go back in the Google bar and I'm just going to put homeschool laws. And that is going to take me right to this page right here, the HSLADA website that have all the states on there. So I'm going to do that. And this is all the states that it have. So if you like click on it, like New York, for example, it goes and tell you what you're required to do for each of those. Okay, for New York, which is one of the high regulation state, you have one option of homeschooling. The age range is still 16 to 17. You have to notify, and for teacher certification, it said no, but you have to have a company instruction. I don't know what that means. So that is something you want to look detail. You want to look into if you're in the state of New York and see what it actually means, instead of just saying, okay, no teacher certification, but then it have that little stipulation on there about the instructions. So you want to look into that. Then you have the state is going to monitor subject that is also telling what you need to teach. And then the difference that makes New York and other places have regulation is assessment requirement. That means they either come every like 6 weeks or 12 weeks, however the school is set up, that you have to do assessment for your child. That somebody coming and test your child, then they see what level they're on, if they're passing or failing. Why instead of testing, I wouldn't have to do that. I can test that and do that for me, but I don't have to do that and report to anyone else. But in this state, you have to. So we're just gonna go to the view completed detail and see more detail at half of that. Okay. So for New York, you have to submit intent to homeschool, which is almost the same thing in Texas. You really don't have to, but you need to let the school know. That way you don't think you're putting your kids out and they're just absent. Okay. And then this is all. You have to have a home instruction plan. Wow. Comply with day, hours, and subject requirement. So in the state of New York, you have to have hourly that your child attends. So you have to keep attendance record. While in the state of Texas, I do not have to keep attendance record. I do keep it just because my kids are planning to go to college, and things could happen, and I just like to have a lot of things to back it up in case somebody calls CPS, because that is the one organization that scared me is CPS and my kids being taken away. So I keep everything, things that I don't even need to keep. So I still keep my attendance sheet and attendance record just in case I have, somebody saying I'm not doing something, even though I know I'm not required to take it. But just sometimes it's just better to give people things that they need so they can go away and you can go on with your day. But in New York, you are required to keep attendance, and have on here that you have to have 180 days per hour. Okay, so that is something else you need to teach. And then it's in addition to the requirement, homeschool students are required to meet hourly attendance requirement of 900 hours per school year in grade 1 to 6 and 990 hours of school year per 7 to 12. Whoa, Lord Jesus. And then it has subject requirement for each grade. So that is K to 12th grade. Law about substance abuse, traffic safety, okay, fire safety, and at least once before grade 9, U.S. and New York history and constitution. Okay, that makes sense. Apart from the whole substance abuse thing, but yeah. So then you go to the next grade, and when you click on grade 1 and grade 2, it tells you what you need to teach. As you saw earlier in Texas, we only have 4 subjects that were required to teach. While New York, you have a lot. You actually have to do everything that a public school student is doing. While in Texas, we do not have to do that. All of this, my kids does do it because, like I said, they are planning to go to college. They do geography, they do science, health, music, physical education, all of those things my kids do, but I'm not required to do it. So that is something you need to look at in your state. What are you required to do, and what do you want to do for your homeschool? So the requirement is what set your floor, but you can always go up and increase it to your ceiling. Your ceiling is unlimited, but your floor is set. My floor in the state of Texas is 4 subject, while in New York it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 12. Your floor is 12 in New York. So you cannot go below that for grade 1 to 6. And I'm pretty sure it kind of increased. Yep, it kind of increased a little bit. I have more stuff on there for 7 and 8 and then 12. So that's something you need to look at. And then the next thing for New York, you have to file a quarterly report. We don't have to do that in Texas. File a quarterly report, you have to assess your child annually. Wow. And you have to do standardized testing. Oh Lord, you have to do standardized testing, and this is your options of testing you can take. I have done the California achievement test before for my oldest, when she was about to do track with the local high school. That was something to require. So I know that, but the rest of the test, I don't know. You have to do a written narration evaluation. So this right here, this website is great for giving the floor of when you start homeschooling. The floor is basically what is required, and then the ceiling is how high you want to go in your homeschool. My floor is 4 subject, and I decided all of this, basically my ceiling is what New York is requiring for your floor if you're in the state of New York. And yeah, so you can go to multiple states. Let's see, this one have a low regulation, Colorado. So now in Colorado, they have 3 options. They have 1, 2, 3. So you choose the option you want to use as a homeschool. So we're going to choose option 1 and see what those requirements are. And they have everything on this website. Is great for that. So for your option 1 is homeschooling under Colorado homeschool statute. So then you have to decide who will be homeschooling your child, and it basically broke it down for what you need to do for each of those. You even have you have to provide 172 days of instruction. You have to keep a good record. You have to test and evaluate your student. And then option 2, that's for independent school, and each of them have way different option that you need to do with that. So you need to look into that and see which option or that you are planning to homeschool your kids. Okay, so that was low regulation, high regulation, and no regulation. Let's choose another state, that is Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is basically set up like Texas, but the school age start at the age of 5 and not 6, while Texas start at 6. So that's something else you have to look at. If my kids required to go to school right now, it's my 5-year-old, or do I have to wait another year? Like my younger, he's turning 5. He don't have to start school, but we are going to start introducing his alphabet and things like that. If I was in Oklahoma, I will have to start buying curriculum for him at the age of 6. So that's something you need to consider when you are starting to homeschool. And this website is great for that. They just have all the state. You just touch it and then go to whatever state you need. I'm going to post part 2 in 2 days just to give you enough time to digest the information, do a little bit of research, and then before you start taking in new information. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.